yes, my last year on the Board of Aldermen under Mayor Harville, we had 154 employees. But some things happened. We chose, this board chose, I wasn't around, to start handling a new fire station and start taking care of some of Shelby County's responsibilities. If I'm wrong, correct me, Chief Graves, but I think that was 12 employees. 15 employees just to do that. So you pull that 15 out. The police department, the government came along and said you will no longer have one person as a dispatcher and a jailer at the same time. So we had to double our force there. 6, 7, Chief, help me out here, I didn't look it up. 6 new enforcers. So you got 23 employees right there that was mandated on this city that nobody had any any control of. However, that one the one fire department issue, we received. I didn't have nobody's question is going to be asked. $700,000 FedEx. So all those salaries are paid for with not tax dollars. It's paid for the money from FedEx because we have the fire station. Okay, excuse me. The fire fees, that covers the new firehouse on the base. Correct. The fire fees from the county that we receive covers that. And I've had Chief Graves look into that because I want to make sure that we're clearing at least $100,000, $200,000 a year on that, and that no money from the city is going into that. Now, the others I'm going to address in just a minute. And I do agree that your town should be left in better shape than you found it. I was raised that way by my dad. When I borrow something from somebody, you tear it up, you go buy them a new one. You always do better than what you had. We've got one more comment from Mr. Holmes. Did you want to comment at the end, or you want to comment on this public hearing?
Comment on the end.
Come on, sir.
On the end.
On the end, I'm sorry. Okay. Before we get into the ordinances, no, I want to read this. Before we get into the ordinances and while the public hearing is still in force, I want to read some things. This budget process represents, in the police and fire department, a 2-year study on fire and police. Contrary to belief, there have been many, many long hours by Ms. Jeannie, Mr. Trusty, Mr. Rasmussen, myself. I'm talking about many, many long hours, many phone calls, receiving many facts and figures to come up with what we did. We realized that we had, right after I was elected, we realized in last year we had a 17% attrition rate in the police department alone. All employees in this city are important. All departments, in my opinion, are like a wagon wheel. If you got a wagon wheel and one spoke is busted, then the whole wheel will collapse. So every department is very, very important. The community has expressed to me over the 20 years I've been on this board that they're very concerned about all departments, but especially the protection of life and health. Okay? We worked hard. It's not perfect. We worked really hard. And we were working really hard on it before that came out in the commercial appeal. Everybody knows that Millington's salaries, just like in my business I had for 40 years, the BP on Poplar Avenue paid their employees more and made more money than I did in mine out here. It's just a fact of life. We created a 3- and 5-year top out in the fire and police. And over the next 2 years, our goal is to start looking at all of the departments in this town. It's a slow process. Yes, I had grandeur dreams when I first was sworn in of getting in touch with MTask and waving a magic wand and taking care of everybody. But I couldn't do that. I had to back off, spend a lot of time on this. Now, as far as budget preparation, okay, let me read some things here, how we got to our budget. We reduced the airport authority fire reimbursement to $365,000. We eliminated the hotel motel volunteer contributions. I went to them, told them, you're the benefit of the sports complex over here. We're losing money. I need money. They volunteered to give us $3 per room per month out of their own pockets towards us because they benefit from it. That was for 6 months. Now that's over, so we increased the motel tax rate from 1.5% to 3%, which should generate $110,000. We reduced the compensation adjustment to 2% for employees and 1% for the top 2 levels. There again, Ms. Odell, we did that because department heads do make more money, and we did that to try to give the lower level as much as we possibly could. We reduced training in general government, a $5,000 expense. I've cut just about all my trips out for this next year to Nashville to save that $5,000. I was put on a very important committee to represent on West Tennessee on the TML Municipal League. I chose to give up that position because it required me to go to Nashville 3 to 4 times a year. That's $5,000 cut in general government. Mr. Trustee adjusted our transfer to debt service for better rates. That saved us $11,000. The city engineer to assume store water manager duties. That saved us $39,000. We eliminated a vehicle in the police department. That saved us $25,000. We're in a process right now of dealing with Shelby County about returning Oracle Park back to them. We make no money off of it. I get more complaints out of that park about this isn't cut right and that's not cut right, and that's costing us about $80,000 to $90,000 a year. I've sent a letter to the county mayor telling him 3 options, possibility, and just alone in that is a $23,000 savings on that. Reduce utilities and parks maintenance, $1,000. Reduce R&M equipment and parks maintenance, $1,000. And a lot of this is because of Orville. Reduce grounds maintenance and parks maintenance, $2,000. Reduce gas and oil and parks maintenance, $1,000, $2,500. Reduce general government supplies, emergency ops, and equipment purchases, $28,000. Mr. Carruthers, in one of our meetings, and examining the Sports Authority, and he's not against the Sports Authority because he's on that committee. I commend him for the events. He's working very hard and diligent on, spending a lot of his time, which he doesn't have to do, to recruit events and try to make that place over there profitable, and he really, really spends hours and hours on that we don't even know how much time. Thank you, Mr. Carruthers. He suggested, and now remember, he's our #1 supporter in the Sports Authority. He implemented a suggestion on a $40,000 cut for the Sports Authority. Reduce courts maintenance agreement, $2,000. Reduce development for travel and equipment on R&M, $3,200. Reduce HR travel, $1,300. Reduce police for management agreement, supplies, and expendable furnishings, $12,600. Reduce public works equipment R&M, $4,500. Eliminate fire department of ARP and O&M budget, $52,000.